How are you doing? Bill DeWeese here from VoiceOverRevolution.com. So what's the problem with voiceover demos? Well, I have reviewed hundreds, if not thousands, of voiceover demos for other voiceover talent, and there are reoccurring themes. And the biggest problem that I see with most voiceover demos is that they tend to be one-dimensional, sometimes two-dimensional, but they're not multi-dimensional as they should be. And let me explain. Actually, let me do more than explain. I'm going to demonstrate I've pulled up 3 scripts here that they're commercial scripts that could potentially be on a voiceover demo, and I think represent some different reads that could be on a demo. One's for Dick's Sporting Goods Labor Day sale. One is for Al Jazeera America News Network, and the other is for Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Most demos that I listen to, especially from not always from newer talent, but mostly from newer talent, and certainly if they're self-directed, is that they tend to be very one-dimensional. So, and a lot of times these are people that have come from a broadcasting background or maybe a stage theater type of background, and they tend to operate in one mode. So regardless of the script that you give them, you're going to find pretty much the same read. There might be a little bit of a speed variance or loudness, energy variance, but it tends to be the same. So let me give you an example. This would be my demonstration of a one-dimensional demo. Here would be the Dick's Labor Day sale commercial. Let me arrange these so I can see them. Here we go. Preseason Labor Day sale now at Dick's Sporting Goods. Receive a $50 instant savings on your archery purchase of $400 or more. And then Al Jazeera America. Tonight, change the way you look at news. At 9 and midnight, go deeper on the nation's top stories with America Tonight. And then Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Everyone has a story. Everything has a purpose. Northwestern Memorial Hospital. The choice you make when everything matters. Now, I may have varied energy and pace slightly, only slightly, if at all, but it's basically the same read. And those of us who come out of especially a performance broadcasting type of background, we tend to read that way because that's just the way we were taught. That's what was expected. A lot of times we're in an environment where we're just cranking stuff out. And so we get into a mode and we fit everything into that mode. Now, if you're a little more advanced, you might be two-dimensional. So you might add a little more, be more sensitive to the energy. So like, for instance, the Dick's Labor Day sale. Again, I need to arrange this so I can see it on my screen. Preseason Labor Day sale now at Dick's Sporting Goods. Receive a $50 instant savings on your archery purchase of $400 or more. And so now, to make it two-dimensional on the Northwestern Memorial Hospital commercial, I'll decrease my energy level just a bit. Everyone has a story. Everything has a purpose. Northwestern Memorial Hospital. The choice you make when everything matters. Now, I'm still using that same basic presentational broadcasting voice. I've just either sped it up with a little more energy or I've slowed it down just a bit. Now, what I want to encourage you to do and to be is a 3-dimensional talent with a 3-dimensional voice-over demo. The third dimension is what I often refer to as the secret sauce of voiceovers. It's the magic fairy dust. It is emotion, which is determined based on the context of the script, things that you've all heard. Who are you in the script? Who are you talking to? Where are you at? That sets the context, but that's not the most important thing. What comes out of that is, okay, what is it I want my audience to feel? And if I want them to feel something, be it excitement, compassion, whatever the case is, I have to feel it first. And if I can make them feel something, my chances of booking that job just went up astronomically. Now, that is different from the mechanics. I'm a little different maybe from most other people in that when I'm producing demos or when I'm coaching talent, my focus is not so much on mechanics and on things like marking up a script and, okay, let's pause here, let's speed up here, let's slow down here, let's emphasize this word. I'm not saying those things aren't important, but 90% of the equation is understanding the context and getting the emotion. Everything else is just the window dressing. It's just the details. And yes, there are places where you may need to tweak and you may need to change pace or emphasis. I'm not saying those things aren't important, but what I'm saying is they're not primary. And if you make them primary, it makes you a robot. It makes you a talking head. It makes you just another voice in the crowd, a commodity, which can be easily replaced by somebody else. But if you're a living, breathing human being with an opinion, a point of view, with an emotion that you can express, now you've raised yourself above the fray. Now you're in rare air where you can command more dollars for better jobs with better clients. So let me demonstrate that for you. Okay, so we've got the 3 scripts. Now, the way I would approach this with Dick's Labor Day sporting goods spot, I'm looking at this and this is retail. We are selling. There's going to be a strong call to action with this kind of commercial. And so what I'm selling here is the excitement. And that goes beyond the sound of my voice. Yes, I can sound big and I can sound excited, but I've got to be excited. So what do I love about Dick's? Let me tell you what I love about Dick's. I love the golf section. I love to go in. I like to pick up the golf clubs. I like to practice hitting with their putters. I love that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm going to tap into, my love of sporting goods, specifically at Dick's. And so my read might be something like this. Preseason Labor Day sale now at Dick's Sporting Goods. Receive a $50 instant savings on your archery purchase of $400 or more. So now, hopefully what you can feel from me is that this means something to me. I love Dick's Sporting Goods. I love golf. I love getting into their, going back and checking out their stuff. So that is the third dimension. That would be the emotion. Let's look at the Al Jazeera. Okay, instead of just sounding authoritative, I want to add a sense of seriousness, a little bit of weight to this. Like this is, if you really want to dive deep into the top stories, you want to come to a credible source. So this is about credibility, believability, and a bit of seriousness. So instead of, tonight, change the way you look at news, I'll approach it more like this. Tonight, change the way you look at news. At 9 and midnight, go deeper on the nation's top stories with America Tonight. Now, this is the Bill DeWeese interpretation, of course. Your results may vary because you're not Bill DeWeese. You are you. But that's how I would approach, and that's how I feel seriousness and how I would exhibit and try to communicate credibility. Now, this next spot would be a little more in my wheelhouse. What would come more naturally to me, which would be the Northwestern Memorial commercial. We're talking about stories and purpose. This is where we're really tapping into the sense of love and family and purpose and those things that make us feel emotional when we really begin to share our innermost feelings and hearts regarding family. Our spouse, our kids, our parents, the people who mean the most to us. So instead of approaching it, again, with one dimension, everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a story. Everything has a purpose. I am going to feel a sense of purpose and caring about the people that matter most to me. Everyone has a story. Everything has a purpose. Northwestern Memorial Hospital. The choice you make when everything matters. Now, notice that I wasn't focused on things like marking it up, punctuation, commas, emphasis, because when the emotion is right, when you understand the context and the emotion is right, most of that other stuff takes care of itself. Now, you may need some direction and tweaking on all of that. Again, I'm not saying you won't, but I'm saying that's 10% of the equation. 90% is identifying how you feel, what's the emotion, and allowing yourself to feel a genuine emotion when you read it. Because if you do that, I'm telling you, you will soar. You will connect. People will be compelled to listen to you. They will lean in to hear what you have to say, and you will get hired more. So go from one-dimensional, and I've used this within the context of demos, but in your auditions, it's the exact same thing. You can not only turn your demos, but your daily work and your auditions from one-dimensional, two-dimensional to three-dimensional, and that is when the magic happens. I wish you great success, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.